P16 real quick, and then we can, I guess, routing. For example, let's go to, I think it's, ooh, shoot. Routing. But we know how to like mix the ears for each individual, right?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
How do you do that?
You know how to do it. Like select
Like the in-ears, like on the stage?
Yeah.
I know how to do it. Well,
Okay.
for the band or for the vocalists?
Yeah, for the vocalists.
Oh, the vocalists. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the band, you can't mix it if they can't do it themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
If they can't do it themselves, they're cooked. Let's see. Okay. This is a P16. So if I was to go to, what is a P16? Is it an input device or an output device?
It's output.
it's input.
You sure?
Inputs, 'cause you have
Jesus.
16 inputs, correct?
Well, we're inputting it to the.
What is it doing?
Oh, it's output. It's output.
Huh?
Well,
What is it
we're
doing?
hearing
What is it doing?
It's sending the signal.
Connecting to
you said it's a board. That's what you said.
Yeah, but what is it doing?
Is it sending signal to?
To what they could hear.
So what is it? Is it an input device or an output device?
Output.
It's an output device. I just wanted to be sure. It's an output device, right? Because it's taking all the signal and then it's giving you a way to hear it, right? So now, when I click the routing, I will be clicking on outputs because it's P16 I'm trying to affect. Does that make sense? Right? And then if I was to go to, so this is outputs, right? Then I go to output group and I go to AESA. I'm going to say that again. Let's say I was home, or this is just like the regular we're mixing for stage or whatever, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm saying, let's see, talkback, you know. So for example, talkback is all bus to a talkback bus, right? Because there's 4 mics for talkback, right? And we can't take out of the 16 outputs there and give 4 to each individual talk. That's why when you just press 1, it's all talkback. So everything is bused to a talkback bus.
Oh, there isn't a talkback bus for sax?
There's no talkback. No. So once you turn up talkback, you're turning up all the talkbacks in your ears. Does that make sense? Right? So if you come here to the buses, you would actually see that hidden away in the abyss is this talkback. And if I was to press on it and do send on faders, you'd see that nothing else is going there except for the talkbacks. The talkback guitar, talkback bass, talkback keys, talkback guitar again. I don't know what this.
So how would you put that mic in there, right there?
Yeah,
Which
that
one?
was that was my
This
question.
one, where is it routed to?
I don't even know. Like literally, just turn it on.
I think
and
PD
hit-
did it.
Here, let's turn it on. And
I don't
find
even
out.
know.
I think it's the last. I think it was
Is it the last one?
Let's turn
Sound-
it on.
Sound guy talkback, right? So what if we wanted to do? What would we do? This is still send on fader, right now. So what would we do?
If you wanted it in their ear.
Yeah, if we wanted
you
it.
would have to
You
unmute it.
unmute it.
and
Okay.
take it up.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then what I remember was you would hit solo so that
So you can hear.
so that you can hear. Oh, that's to hear them.
That's to
Okay,
hear them.
so
What if you
as
just
long as
wanted to talk, like send it to them, like send this mic to the talkback bus?
It's one of these. I don't know if it's.
No, hold on. You're so close.
Oh, yeah, you turn the
That's
volume
the
up.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So remember that this is a pipe,
yeah.
right? If I click on this and I go here, I can see that it's only these 4 being sent to the pipe. If I want to add this one to it, I'm just going here. I'm just going here, and what am I doing? I'm turning it up. So now in their mix, they cannot just hear on that talkback knob. It's not just the 4; it's now 5.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Right. So now you can actually just talk, and it goes straight. Unless the person actually has talkback muted in their ears. If you're a musician, you're doing that. God punish you. Because that's a sign of rebellion. Let's cut that one out. That's a sign of rebellion. So now you can actually just talk. You don't have to press solo or anything like that. But of course, please just be turning off the mic because we don't want to be hearing like the sound of the congregation like through
I
it.
was always under the impression that we had to select one of these. 'Cause I know one of them.
Yeah.
It'll go to the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
One.
this B is for the house.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So that's just to talk to the whole house.
Uh-huh.
But now you don't have to like.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You don't have to press that because it's just routed as a regular mic, just like those ones.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So now we talked about this is a talkback bus, right? Now let's go back to routing. If we were to click on routing, right? and they're saying, you guys are saying, I can't hear, like they can't hear me. So we first of all sorted the problem of,
Who is me in this situation?
so for example, you've been shouting,
From the back.
EJ, turn down, turn down. EJ, relax, relax. And EJ is just continuing rebellion. And so we're asking ourselves, wait, can EJ actually hear us?
Yeah.
So now, so now we're saying, is the signal going to the right pipe?
Yeah.
So that's what we just did now.
Okay, cool.
We did the proper sending of this mic to the talkback bus. Now let's
Can you
act.
do that from the start?
Okay, yeah. So, for example, this is how it looked, right? When we do send on fader, right? I'll do this, send on fader, and it's showing you what is being sent to this fader. If I was to do snare, you'd see that the only thing that's being sent to snare is the 2. That's
Okay.
because we
Oh,
had
yeah.
2 mics on the snare. We have a snare top and a
Okay.
snare at bottom. If it was just one input, we can send it directly.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Where is this actually going to?
Snare in the
And it's here? Okay,
yes.
okay.
The snare has reverb on it,
Got you.
right? And that's the benefit of a bus, if that makes sense. Like you can put in more effects that you don't want to be on the signal itself. Does that make sense? Right. So whenever he's hearing his snare, he also hears the snare with the reverb on it,
Okay.
right?
Is that going to the house or just his?
No, just his ears,
Okay.
right? Because if you look at the outputs for these, they're not sent to any of the outputs, at least in the house. They're only sent to the ears. Does that make sense? Right. So now we said that EJ can't hear us, right? We'll do this. Actually, let me even give another example of something that is being consolidated, at least there. How many toms do we have? We have 3. I don't want to hear tom 1, tom 2, and tom 3. Just put it all in one. Does that make sense? Because remember, we have limited resources. It's a P16. It's not, it's not 35 that I can say, oh, just a tad bit of more. You know what I mean? So we also have a bus for the toms. Now, if you were to find what is
not
going
sending
here,
Nothing there.
except for the toms.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
cool. Yeah.
Exactly. Right before we actually did need overheads, but technically we don't need it anymore. Does that make sense? Right. So let's sort out the talkback issue. They can't hear us. We've selected send on fader, right? And now what are we looking for? Where the sound is coming from. So can someone navigate to find like yeah. Okay. Okay.
That wouldn't be this one, was it?
Keep
Oh,
going.
wait, yeah, it is. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's talking. So which mics are these?
So like a normal.
Like it's a stage mic?
Yeah, those are the stage, right? And at least we named them correctly now. Talkback drums, talkback bass, talkback keys,
Yeah.
talkback guitar, right? So if we're just being weak and said, I know has been shouting in their ears, we can just say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now only those 3 talkbacks will be going through this bus.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So now we say that, but the sound guys talkback, how do we find that?
The sound?
Yeah.
Go down.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now it's,
Yeah. Is he being sent?
no, not right now.
He's muted.
So unmute these.
Okay. And what are we going to do? Exactly.
Okay.
So now, I don't know. I don't.
Well, I guess there's 2 sound guys, that's why.
Are there 2 sound guy mics?
No, it's just one.
It's just
but
one.
I think both of them are going into the same.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it means that then we should just send one, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, it means that we can hear him there. Now, let's make sure it's actually being routed to the correct number on the P16, because remember the P16 has 1 to 16, at least numbers-wise, right? So I would go to, what was it again? Routing. And what is the P16 again? It's an output, right? So we'll do output first, and then what is it? 50A, right? And one of the things about at least the Behringer system is that it starts from 33. So 33 is 1.
1,
32 is,
2,
does that make sense? Sorry, 34 is what?
2.
2.
Yeah.
35 is,
3.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now,
It's like right here.
exactly. So if you were to look at talkback right here, it's routed to this. Does that make sense? Like number, what would this be
11?
on the 11?
Yeah.
Number 11 is what? Is getting it from what bus?
15.
Bus 15. What is this? Bus 15.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now let's look for another thing on the P16. Remember that we put all the toms together, right? Into which bus was that? 13, right?
13, yeah.
So if we were to look at what number is on the P16? What number?
35,
Which is what on the P16?
3,
3.
yeah.
What should that be highlighting here?
13,
13. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Right? Shall I go on? Kick. Now, kick is not being routed to a bus.
Yeah.
It's just a signal itself. Does that make sense? And what is it going to? Kick 1. And if we were to look at our board, we can see that it's going to A what? 1.
Yeah.
And A1 is technically number 1 on the stage box
Yeah,
in the
facts,
back.
'cause it's 33.
Does that make sense? Let's do one more. Let's see. Piano. What is it getting sent to?
8? What is it?
That, Yeah,
Yeah, 7.
7.
Yeah.
But we have piano left and right, right? So this is it's a stereo image. We have number 8 is what? 15. And what would be number 9?
16.
16. Does that make sense? Same thing with guitar. We have guitar left. We also have guitar right, which is taking, I think, 10 and 11. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah,
Shall I go on? Last one.
9 and 10. Yeah.
Let's do one more. A&R vocal reverb. How many mics do we have on stage, like for singers?
4, 5, 5.
5. Now, before we only had 4, so we could route them individually and say each person can choose their own mix. At this point, we only have 16 channels. Right? We only have 16 outputs. Put all the vocals in one. So what do we need to do that? Exactly, a bus. And I think we have one here. What bus is this? 12. So if we look at it, we can see if we were to go to this bus, if we were to do send on fader, what should we be seeing? All vocals. But this is not going to the house. This is just for the P16. Does that make sense?
I thought I saw, like, for the P16, they're like at least 30
Yeah, there
or
are 2 that are mislabeled now. So we actually need to update the labeling for P16.
How is it showing all the mics?
What?
That's what sent.
so there's nothing in the other ones?
There's still some routed there, but it's a random batch.
Okay, because I'll be turning
Yeah,
it down.
I just mute both of them. I mute those because we don't need them technically. And the last 2, actually, this might be a good assignment to relabel the P16 because now number, I think 15 and 16 are overheads.
Like technically, or just like
On the like on the P16 is itself.
the paper.
On the paper on the because number 15 and 16 are now overheads for drums. Yeah. That makes sense. But it's still showing vocal 4 and 5 or something like that. So yeah. Yeah.
Does this ever come out?
No, it's the.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask about the frequency graphs.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like if you wanted to add a tambourine.
Yeah.
Okay.